This is the Wide Format Impressions broadcast. Welcome back to the broadcast. I'm Dan Marks. The 2026 Printing United Expo is just around the corner, and I am so excited for it. I hope you share my enthusiasm, and if not, or if you're on the fence about going, perhaps we can convince you. To do so, I'm pleased to welcome Josh Carruth, EVP Exhibitions at Printing United Alliance. So first, welcome, Josh.
Hey, Dan, thanks for having me.
Great to have you here. First thing, let's talk about the basics. Where is it this year? When is it? Where can people find more information?
Yeah, absolutely. We are back in fabulous Las Vegas. A little bit different timing when we go to the Vegas show. So
Mhm.
it's going to be September this year, and that's September 23rd through the 25th to be specific. And we will be at the Las Vegas Convention Center.
Okay, and this is the same Las Vegas center we've been at previous years, correct?
That's right. But we are eternally grateful that construction has wrapped up for the most part, and we are
Yay.
back at our preferred hall configuration. So you won't need to walk up and over and across,
Hmm.
literally, like you had to do last time. We'll be in the north and central halls.
Okay, and it's filling both of those halls.
Oh yeah, I mean it's yes. We have a lot of net square feet. We are over 700 exhibitors, and we're still several months from the show, so things are shaping up nice.
Fantastic. It is the highlight of my year. Part of
Me
it is
too.
it's related to my job, but I also find it just the peak of my year, and I'm so excited to go. For somebody who's listening to this and is saying, I don't know if I want to go this year, what do you think is the most compelling reason for any PSP, wide format or otherwise, to go to the expo this year?
I really don't think it's that much different than why you or I are excited about it. It's the palpable vibe, it's the electricity in the air, it's the kid in the candy shop as you walk through and see all the technology and the equipment and, making new connections, seeing old friends. All of that is part of it. And it all comes with the added benefit of accomplishing work related goals while you're there.
Hmm.
So it's a duality of productivity and community in one nice bundle.
Fantastic. Now, I know there's been a lot of talk about convergence in the last several years. And I know when it was the SGI Expo, it seemed like it was a lot more of a wide format show. And now you go and you see a lot more stuff. So, what do you think the effect of convergence has been, both for the printing industry at large, but also for the wide format segment?
We know that it's translated into net new opportunities and revenue. We know empirically through print service providers were providing the feedback to us
Mhm.
via our state of the industry surveys and the Alliance Insights research that's done every year that more and more are printers. I use that term loosely because they don't always call themselves printers, but they have
Sure.
something to do with it, or they may make part of what they sell, right? Are looking to provide more solutions for their customers. And there's really only two ways to do that: to have strategic partnerships with, or to actually make the capital investment and produce those items that you traditionally didn't in house. That's how you can go right to your customers and say, hey, you're coming to me for this, but I can also provide you this. And we know that the traditional print buyer role at brands and at the end users has changed. And that's part of actually what we do as an association is try to provide that education, because it has seemingly been lost as time has gone on. And that's
Hmm.
precisely what our goal is, to reverse that.
Okay. And then just getting into some specifics, you mentioned a little bit the square footage of the trade show, how many exhibit. Can you elaborate a little bit on that just to give people a sense of the size?
Yeah, from a sheer size standpoint, the halls that we occupy are over 1 million square feet.
Hmm.
They are chocked full of those, which, typically between 700 and 800 exhibitors every year, the suppliers in our industry, which represents, a high percentage of the suppliers that even service the industry. So just about everybody and everything is there as it relates to image recreation.
Hmm. And just to go back to what you're talking about with convergence, and I think the fact that there is so much there, somebody who's like, oh, this isn't the wide format focus show it used to be, that's good. Like
Look,
to go and see all the stuff you've seen before, to I think to go and be exposed to new things you haven't seen, to be like, what is that? I don't understand it. What could that do for my business? That's value.
Well, so let's just say you are one of the few that say, you know what, I'm not interested in providing other solutions than what I know and what I've done, right? Traditionally being, let's use wide format as an example. The beauty of bringing the communities together is in the definition of convergence itself. It's the idea that putting similar technologies in close proximity reduce ideation times. And that's a fancy way of saying, oh, I like how that person solved that solution. May not fit what I need exactly, but it inspired me to get the answer that I need.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's talk about, everybody thinks about the trade show floor and the exhibits, and obviously that's the sort of the cornerstone of the trade show concept. But to get kind of a Las Vegas about this, I see the expo as being a little bit like Las Vegas itself, where um, you go into a casino, and among the things you see amongst all the dinging and the bells and the lights flashing is like a wedding chapel, right? You know, in this circus, there are serious things going on, right? And
Absolutely.
and if people focus on some of those things, so what I want to do is outline some of those things that people can take advantage of when they're there. So let's start at the hub, which is the Alliance booth, Printing United Alliance. What will be going on there, and why should somebody stop by?
Yeah, absolutely. So, like any this trade association show, there's typically a hub, as you eloquently put, for that association. So, for any of the listeners who are not aware what the Alliance is, you come to the show, you'll actually get to see it. Our booth, we aspired to physically recreate all the pillars on which the Alliance was built. We are not just a transactional association. We pay you dues, we get a discount on something. It's much, much greater than that. We are a community, so you'll be able to investigate at your own leisure the advocacy work that we've done, the career development and workforce development efforts that we are putting into the industry by way of training and education, our relationships with our colleges and universities, and the student day that we host at the show, and some of the subject matter experts that we have internally full time on staff that are
Mhm.
focused on areas like environmental health and safety, human resources, problems that real businesses have. You'll get a little bit of a taste of the access our members enjoy to them, as well as learn about everything else related to membership as it comes from that. And there's a few perks thrown in there for the members that are listening. The member lounge is a staple that we will absolutely have back, which is a great place to catch a few minutes of reprieve from walking that trade show floor. Look, we know everybody's there for a reason, but the
Mhm.
job never really stops, right? So we're all connected at the hip in this day and age, and you need a place to sit down, grab a coffee or a soda or some popcorn. We have Wi-Fi. You can answer some emails, things
Sure.
like that, where you get 15 minutes off your feet, and then get right back at it. You don't really have to leave the show floor, which is tantamount to a half a mile walk anywhere you go. So
Right.
that's obviously one of the few perks we offer our members. But the point of the booth is, like I said, it's meant to physically represent everything we're all about.
Okay. Now I know another Alliance affiliated booth, and there are several, is iLearning Plus. Can you
Absolutely.
describe what that is, but also what people can experience on site?
Yes, that's kind of actually diving into one of the things I mentioned on the training and education. So, in what I would call as our Alliance compound, or actually, what will look like several booths on the show floor plan if you're in our mobile app or anything like that using wayfinding, just so you can identify and find it. But the iLearning Plus area will kind of be twofold this year. One, you can get live demos of our courses and certifications, talk to our educational and training team about what offerings we have. I will say iLearning has absolutely exploded in the last 2.5 years. Over 9,000 users in over like 80 or 90 countries. We're having to scramble to translate into languages that we never even thought of because of how valuable of a product it's ended up being. And additionally, in that area, we're also going to be hosting and giving a home to some of our international G7 experts. So this will be the first time we actually are able to bring them into the fold officially. And on the backside of that training wall in that same little area of the booth is a place for the best color management experts on the planet to meet and to have that same fellowship that goes along with every trade show.
That's fantastic. That's a great opportunity for anybody who is either involved in G7 already or G7 plus, or is interested in and is looking in that direction. You can literally talk to people who are legs on the tripod of
Well,
G7.
I'll take it a step further for you because we're also backed by popular demand. I would say bringing back our G7 Plus exchange, and
Ooh,
so this is an actual get together
right.
the day before the show, where all of these experts are really, like you said, anybody interested in what is this or trying to understand why it would apply. And we had everyone from printers and consultants to brands come last year simply to educate themselves on what it is or just to connect with all the others who happen to be accredited with that wonderful certification.
Yeah. And as I remember last year, that event sold out really early.
It actually sold out three times. We built it,
Wow.
it sold
Yeah.
out. We had to find a bigger room. It sold out again, and then repeat one more time. So yeah, that's when I say popular demand. That was not an
Mhm.
exaggeration.
So word to the wise, if you're interested in the G7 exchange, sign up now.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
let's sign up for that. You might miss out. Okay, let's something we that the Alliance put on last year that was, I think, a surprise to everybody. That was kind of proof of concept, as you described it to me recently. But the AI Pavilion, right?
Mhm.
So that was bonkers last year. We're doing it again this year. Tell me about it.
Yes, absolutely. Amy Servey has done a phenomenal job. Who, if you're not aware, Amy Servey is our AI subject matter expert, and she has built out some new elements where actually folks who are at the show will be able to come and get involved in some assessments if they're interested in their business on where they stand. Like, are you ready? And in the same, what we didn't get rid of the good stuff, right? So the content, the programming, all of that is still there. There's just some additional ways to gain insight into your own business and to kind of meet with others in the same space. And I'm glad we're hitting all these right now because these three areas, the Alliance booth, the AI Pavilion, and the iLearning Training Demo Center, are all essentially connected by the same carpet in the North Hall. So when I said compound, I wasn't kidding. Those are the three main elements that make up the Alliance compound of the many features we have throughout the show floor that we can chat about. Those are all kind of in one area, so you can kind of bam, 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 knock
Yeah.
them all out.
Compound kind of makes the Alliance sound like a cult. Is it a
Yeah,
cult, Josh?
family. Yeah, right, right. Well, like any cult would say, no, but it is a family, and
Yes.
that is what we want. It is, we want our members to feel part of that and that they are having an impact on not only their business but what is essentially a much larger industry. We are a proper trade association and we have lots of volunteer leadership that we derive direction from and insights from, and that is those members, that those
Yeah.
are printers who are living and breathing this every day saying these are my problems, this is what I'm having. And a few things they might not even know are coming down the pipe,
Sure.
stuff that our environmental health and safety and our sustainability subject matter experts have been involved in as it relates to proposed bans on carbon black or
Hmm.
chlorinated inks that, if you woke up one day and couldn't use blue and yellow ink, you might have a problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that is it is absolutely it's a family, it's a community, or dare I say a tribe.
Women in Print Alliance is dedicated to connecting, empowering, and advancing women in the print industry. As part of Printing United Alliance, we're fostering a more inclusive future through advocacy, education, and networking opportunities that connect women across the entire industry. Join us as an individual to grow your career, expand your network, and access exclusive resources, or enroll your entire organization to show your commitment to supporting women in print. Become a member today at womeninprintalliance.org and help us shape the future of print.
Very good. One thing I'd like to ask about is ASI. There's this show within a show happening. So
Yeah, a
can
strategic partnership with ASI because they represent another part of the market. Again, we're the big tent and we want to be Switzerland. We want to work with everyone. It's not like us or nothing. It's us trying to be the hub and
Mhm.
bring all these pieces together. And one of the things that have come out of that is this show within a show concept, where for a lot of the suppliers, as they would call it in the ASI area, they can actually do two things. They can send people to help sell and network to the distributors who come to the show, as well as
Hmm.
other printers who are looking for partnerships in that thing. And they can also look at the equipment they need to produce what they do. So it's just a in-stream continuation of our industry that relates very closely to some of the segments we already represent.
Sure. And I think that interlinking between promotional products and the printing industry, it's almost like they were operating in parallel for a long time, and these connections are coming out. People in the printing industry are seeing it as an opportunity in production, and people on the promo side are saying, oh my God, there are all these printers with all these capabilities. What can we do?
Right back to the convergence conversation, right?
Oh,
It's
yeah,
the full circle right there. That's it playing out in real life.
that is absolutely right. Well, I'd like to ask you, maybe we can do just a quick description of a couple of these areas, but
Hmm?
I know one thing that's been present at the Expo for quite a few years is the apparel zone.
Hmm.
So, quickly describe it, but also why would a wide format producer want to go over there and look at the apparel stuff?
Well, you know, oh boy, this might not be so rapid fire because this is a pretty deep question.
Okay.
Yes, the apparel zone is back. What it is a flag in the ground for that community, obviously, for some hands-on training provided by the suppliers and also content specific session and programming.
Hmm.
That is the 30,000 foot view of the area, and apparel and wide format as SGIA prior to Printing United is proof of kind of go hand in hand, especially because there's a large contingency of the apparel market that comes off wide format machines.
Yeah.
Dye sublimation, things like this, athletic wear and sports uniforms. A lot of these are cut sew products that are custom from the time they're printed and then produced. It's not just embellishing that
Hmm.
finished substrate.
Yeah.
And as most might think, oh, you're screen printing a t-shirt or you're embroidering a hat or something along those lines. Absolutely, screen printing is king when it comes to the apparel world still, but there are so many supplemental technologies and
Hmm.
technologies that, quite frankly, commercial and wide format printers have been dabbling in for decades that are new to that segment. This is the intersection of all that. So yeah, it is definitely, we like to say we have loosely defined neighborhoods within the
Right.
show,
Right.
which is kind of a twofold thing, right? You have to pay attention to the attendees' experience and being able to source and find what they're looking for and discover
Hmm.
new things. But at the same time, there's so much crossover. The
Oh,
lines
yeah.
are so blurry that we kind of just say, okay, these things are in this general area. And wide format and apparel are two that are kind of connected at the hip,
Oh, yeah.
100%.
And I think an example of that, and I know there are other companies that are the same way, but like Mimaki comes to mind.
Oh, yeah.
They're a huge player in wide format. They have a lot of systems that are working in the apparel space. They have systems for industrial printing. So if you want to try to force Mamaki into choosing one place to be, so that idea of being kind of those loosely defined neighborhoods is good. Like birds of a feather can flock together, but they can all occupy the sky the same way.
Absolutely. And there's about a dozen other I could rattle off to you right now that do the exact same thing, where they
Sure.
have, what they may even look at as internal divisions. Really, I actually kind of made a joking observation internally not too long ago is we should have been looking at our suppliers to prove out convergence before it was ever thought of. They've recognized that and been doing it themselves for years. And
Yeah.
Mamaki is a perfect example. They were a customer in a previous life at a different vertical event that I worked at, and then I came here and it was like, oh, I know them and I know them and I know them and I know them and oh, wait a
Hmm.
second. And it's, subliminally, we've been watching this happen for decades.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely. You're spot on.
Okay. And then looking at the wide format segment, obviously applied graphics, using pressure sensitive materials, whether it's
Hmm.
vehicle wraps or wall murals or that kind of stuff. We have an installer zone this year. Can you tell me quickly about that?
Yes, absolutely. Our PDAA zone has also been a long-standing activation and provides that flag in the ground for the wide format community. But there'll be demonstrations and competitions throughout the show. Just head to printingunited.com. You can look up the schedule of events, check any of that stuff out. But it's exactly as you described. It's various different substrates and installation objectives, I would
Hmm.
say, in one area, so that you can actually see the diversity of wide format applications.
Yeah. And I think another interesting thing in that area is you can try it hands-on yourself,
That's
right?
correct.
I
Yes.
mean, as somebody who's tried to wrap a vehicle before, with a bunch of installers standing around me laughing at me, I know how hard that is.
uh,
And man, it is an incredible skill and incredible craft.
I mean, embarrassingly, I have some wrap on one of my vehicles that's starting to crack, and I'm thinking of heading over and seeing Jim, who's local here in me in
Yep.
Atlanta, and have a little chat. But yeah, because it is not something you just kind of DI. That would
No.
not at all say that. And whether it's like you said, vehicle cleans or even the architectural installations and things like that, it is an art,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. And if you don't do it right, your wrap turns into C wrap, right?
I like
All right. Well,
that.
I know there are more than 50 sort of paid educational sessions. And for people listening, these are the traditional things where you go into a meeting room and there's a lecture or panel discussion. I would urge people to really look at that agenda, take some time, go through that. I do want to hype one session that I'll be putting together and moderating called Stretching the Boundaries of Wide Format Services. And that'll be on Thursday, September 24th, 11 a.m. So that's the second day of the show. And what we're really going to talk about is the fact that a lot of wide format printers today, PSPs, are finding greater value with services like installation, like fabrication, providing not only a broader level of service for their customers, but higher value print. So instead of being busy all the time selling cheap stuff, they can sell higher value stuff and have a bigger bang. So, um,
Turnkey at that, right? That's the goal, is that you're providing the turnkey high quality solution to the customer.
oh yeah, and we will have a panel of wide format PSPs who have branched into new areas toward additional, more valuable opportunities. So, little invitation for you.
Well,
Now,
and we're lucky to have you, and that education even extends outside those paid education. If you're a member, you get access to all the paid education for free.
mhm,
That's another one of those perks of the member experience, aside from the fast pass registration line and so forth. But we have on-floor educational sessions, like we kind of touched on with printing AI or the apparel zone. We actually have a new area on the show floor called Spill the Ink, which is also
right.
focused on this. So it's not just programmed session times. There are some of those, absolutely,
Hmm.
but it's more one-to-one networking and coaching and other things like that. It was really, the spirit of it is career development, workforce development. So it's our student day, our student lounge will be in there along with some of our all-star lounges. But there are dedicated areas within there and throughout the show floor where content is happening all the time. So I really would urge everybody to spend some time in that schedule of events and look through the topics. It's sortable, it's searchable. Find the things that are interested to you. Learn about something new. I mean, what is spending 30 to 45 minutes trying to understand an adjacent market
Sure.
before you shut down? I don't want to deal with that.
Hmm. Just to clarify, because I think this is really important, but you mentioned the All Stars. Who are the All Stars?
So they're like our global media partners and folks like that who are part of the community, but they may act as suppliers. Some are PSPs, some are consultants. They really, and some are media, right? They
Hmm.
really span the gamut. But they are essentially friends of the alliance. They are our champions that don't work for us.
Right.
So I mean, so you'll see them throughout the show. We usually give them some kind of an apparel. Like last year, it was a jersey. You'll
Yep.
be able to identify them, and they are the folks that we obviously want to keep close to us, but who really, a lot of them sought us out and said, "How can we be a part of this?"
Sure.
Um, just like our volunteer leadership. So we're happy to have them for everything that they do. They're amazing partners, and a few of them will be programming these areas in the Spill the Ink district that I just mentioned, because that's what they do, right? So that's if you see folks that are in a jersey and you ask them, what's going on, and they don't feel like they're staff, but they got something nice to say. That's
Hmm.
who those folks are. But they're all phenomenal resources and great people to know.
Yeah, they're probably people that you're following on LinkedIn right now.
That's the voices in our industry, the ones you see on social media. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, Josh, before we start wrapping up, I have some key questions for you. So, first of all, let's talk about you. What are you most looking forward to for this year's expo?
Ooh, observing, right? My one of my favorite things to do is to, watch the city get built and watch the doors open and watch everybody come in. But then you might find me standing outside of a line at a coffee cart or at a presentation that's on the floor, listening to what the other people are saying. I think not like eavesdropping, I'm not, I'm not doing anything like that, but just the simple observations that end up driving what our future plans are. It's these one-off conversations that lead to questions being asked, to surveys being sent, to data being analyzed, right? The Expo is the catalyst for so much, not least being the future direction of where we take things. So to me, it's an opportunity. That's what I thrive on, is hearing what the people that matter are saying.
Very good. And then how can an attendee best prepare for the event? I know people book a flight and they get a hotel and they mark it on their calendar, but what should they do in advance before they even set foot in Vegas?
If there was one thing, and I'll just keep it to one so nobody has to remember a list, download the mobile app. Everybody's mobile app is kind of like, oh, okay, a mobile app. Everybody's got a mobile app. Even I might, 3 years ago, I might have not even said that. It is now all I even use as the functional head of the Expo. If I'm getting around on the floor, if somebody stops me and asks me a question, if an exhibitor's there or how to get to it, open the mobile app. It has wayfinding. It has all of our sessions. You can, if you log in with your attendee registration, it'll actually save everything and plan out your schedule and tell you where you need to go from where you are in the convention center, as well as obviously having the entire floor map, so you can search every exhibitor, see their profile. And it's the same functionality as the website. You might not have your laptop with you, when you're on the plane or something like that. All the same information is quite literally in the palm of your hands.
Yeah. And I would tell people that it's a 3-day show. And as you've heard in our discussion here, there's a lot going on. So you can't do everything. And I think if you don't go in with some sort of a plan,
absolutely,
you embrace the chaos. And I think
but make time for new, right?
Yeah.
Go and accomplish your objectives, but build in enough time to window shop. Even if you don't have any plans, you won't know what you won't know if you don't give it a chance and walk and look and, kind of be that kid in the candy store and just go, what is that? And how can I sell that to my customers?
Right. And finally, what would you say to a PSP, wide format or otherwise, who is on the fence about coming to the Expo? Why should they be there?
Oh man, don't open social media during the 3 days of the show, or you're going to have some extreme FOMO. But I would say, come join us to join us. Come join us to be part of the community. Come and join us to have your voice heard and to see what the latest and greatest is. You get one shot every year, and suppliers wait for this time frame specifically to unveil and launch products. So again, your competitors will be there. If you want to give them that advantage, that's your choice.
All right. That is compelling. So Josh Carruth with Printing United Alliance, thanks so much for joining me, and I will see you in Las Vegas.
Dan, it's a pleasure as always, and we will see you there.
You've been listening to the Wide Format Impressions broadcast. You can find more great content at wideformatimpressions.com.